Hello, friend. I have a story for you, baby. Stick around for a special little bonus story at the end. Once upon a time, I made the idiotic mistake of making someone like me. See, there was this woman who had joined our multimedia journalism team as a sort of intern. She was there for, I believe, 2 weeks to learn whatever she could and then return to her normal job. Why couldn't they train her themselves? I haven't a clue. Anyways, she did not have a car, and I'd recently gotten rid of mine since it was almost my time to leave and move to another job in the States. I was overseas at the time. This put me and her in the same ride with my work friend, Jimmy. At first, things were just fucking dandy. She was taking notes as we explained things to her on the job, and she attentively asked us questions. She didn't seem like a burden. After a few days, we even engaged in small talk during the car rides. She seemed cool, but then there was a flip. She started getting weird. Oh, I just hate weird girls, I tell you. See, I'd made the mistake of making a reference to an old filthy Frank meme in the car. And while most people who get the joke would just chuckle a bit, this stupid fucking bitch repeated it back and laughed like a fucking retard. Jimmy and I both awkwardly laughed, but played it off like it was funny. No hard feelings, right? Well, she kept repeating the joke after every fucking sentence. Oh, over and over again, like a broken record, and each time she did this, she would look at me for approval. I doubled down on my mistake and kinda nodded along and smiled. Holy fuck, it was difficult to remain rational. The Lord gives us these challenges for us to exercise restraint from beating the living shit out of one another. And this was one of said challenges, I swear. I took a deep breath. She's weird, but it's only one instance. Let's just get through this car ride, and it will all be over. Well, she kept doing it the next day. All day. That bitch. I had to pull Jimmy aside and vent to him about her. Listen, Jimmy, I am sick of this motherfucker. If I hear that son of a bitch say that joke one more time, I'm gonna rip her spine from her body, dude. He told me to chill, but he almost couldn't get the words out. He thought it was hilarious. Long story short, some kids need to be bullied. It builds character. Prevents this sort of sick shit. This and worse, like those nasty fuckers wearing dogtails in middle school and shitting in litter boxes in their public restrooms. Okay, time for a bonus story. So, this happened after a work drinks event that went a little too long. One moment I was at the bar laughing with co-workers, and the next thing I remember was the sound of my apartment door clicking shut behind me. That familiar oh no feeling hit me like a freight train as I instinctively reached for my pockets and slapped bare skin. I was in the nude. There I was, standing in the hallway of my apartment building with no keys, no phone, no memory of how I got there, and definitely no dignity. It could have been 10 p.m., 2 a.m., or even mid-morning for all I knew. There were no windows, no clues, just my mortifying reality. I started weighing my options. Option 1, knock on a neighbor's door for help. Naked. Option 2, take the elevator down to the lobby and ask building security for help. Also naked. Both options felt equally horrifying, so I just stood there mentally spiraling and trying to figure out how I'd hit rock bottom so efficiently. Then, like a beacon of hope, I spotted the emergency call button in the elevator. This was my way out. I pressed it and got connected to a lift operator. She asked what kind of issue I was having, and I, utterly defeated, explained that I wasn't trapped in the elevator, but was instead trapped outside my apartment, naked and in need of help. To her credit, she was surprisingly professional and said she'd contact building management for me. I waited in the hallway, exposed and humiliated, for what felt like forever until she got back to me. Sorry, no one's answering. Bruh, what the actual fuck? I was back to square one, naked, helpless, pacing the hallway like a madman. Another 10 minutes passed before I tried the emergency phone again. This time she came back with good news. Someone from security was on their way up to see my PP. When the elevator finally dinged, my savior appeared. A very well-built security guard. At first he looked in the opposite direction, probably expecting a normal-clothed tenant in distress. Then he turned and saw me, naked, trying my best to cover myself with my hands. Without missing a beat, he sighed, shielded his eyes, and walked toward me, shaking his head and jingling his keys. As I tried to explain myself, he cut me off mid-sentence with a firm, "I don't want to know." Normally, building policy requires ID, or proof of residence, but I guess he decided it wasn't worth prolonging the situation. He unlocked my door, still shielding his eyes, and walked away muttering something under his breath. Now, I see him almost every day. I can't bring myself to make eye contact, and I'm sure he's equally happy to avoid me. Jesus Christ, I never thought someone would see my wee-wee on gummy worm mode, my schmeckle. It really is tiny, yes. Needless to say, I no longer drink to excess. As a matter of fact, I'm never removing my clothes. Not to sleep, not to shower, not to swim, I don't give a fuck.